Welcome back to another video from the Debate Room podcast. This is episode 132. We're back with another NBA episode as the football season has been put on pause for 2 weeks until the Super Bowl. We have a lot to talk about. De'Aaron Fox has basically requested to be traded because he doesn't want to sign back in Sacramento as a free agent. Thompson has begun to break out in front of the whole entire world, especially with his 33-point game and game winner versus the Celtics a few days ago. Jimmy Butler was suspended again a few days ago, and so as the trade deadline approaches, we're going to talk about this whole saga and also where he might end up. Jalen Johnson, unfortunately, is out for the remainder of the season, so we're going to talk about the Hawks' future this year and going forward. And then we have a trade deadline wish list where we're going to talk about some teams we want to see make moves and some players we want to see moved. I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Max and Jaden. As always, Max, how you doing, man? I saw y'all got a big win against Minnesota the other day.
That was not a big win. That was if anyone watched that game.
Big win as in y'all blew them out.
Yeah, if you watched that game, that was a bad game for us. I think the score was like 18-8 going into like 6 minutes left in the first. We turned up at the end, which was fun. But like defensively, it was a great game. We had played really good defense. Minnesota's not a good basketball team, but no, that was not, to be honest, it was a terrible game by us. But still, won by 20, got out of there. But this is the big stretch for us. So for me being a college basketball fan, these next 2 weeks are bad. We go to I don't know how much you value the LA teams, but we play USC, UCLA back to back, and then we host Oregon and Purdue. We got to go to Champaign to play Illinois. We host IU. We play Maryland twice. So a lot of good teams coming up. So I'm glad we handled business. 9-0 in the conference. I can't say anything much better about it. But now is kind of where all the work gets really started. So I'm nervous though. I'm nervous about March for sure. There's a lot of good teams out there, so I'm nervous about March. But I like our chances.
I don't think I would hear that in a sentence. I don't think they're that good at all.
They're not, but still, they have a couple playmakers who, like if Omar Ballo kind of gets it going. But yeah, I'm not super scared of Indiana. The game I'm scared about is going to Champaign. I've been saying this all year. Getting that win against
Purdue and also Oregon too.
I think we match up pretty well against Purdue. We can still lose. I think we match up really well against Purdue as far as guard play and our defense. But sweeping Illinois would be huge. That's the one game that I'm really scared about. Jaden can say more on that, but I'm worried about Illinois for sure.
Wow, we're losing by that 13? No, it's not. It's 23. We're losing by 23 right now to UIC. So we're about to get upset. We were 9-1 in conference play, and now we're down 20 with 37 seconds left. So this is a loss. I have to go check. We had a game at home today, and we lost by 20 at home. So it'll be interesting article to read because I wasn't able to go tonight. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, college basketball is heating up. But we're here to talk about the NBA. De'Aaron Fox, we got news from Shams basically yesterday, and also Chris Haynes saying that he wants to be traded because he's not going to re-sign in Sacramento before he becomes a free agent in 2026. And this is an interesting cycle because obviously 2 seasons ago the Kings were the NBA darlings. They made the playoffs for the first time in I think 17 seasons or something like that. Like the Bean was going crazy. A lot of NBA fans love the Kings story and what they overcame. And then last year they obviously didn't make the playoffs, and then this year they are not going to make the playoffs. And I think the biggest mistake was after they made the playoffs, they just got complacent and they ran it back. The West got better. Their team didn't get better. And then
they didn't run it back. They got DeMar DeRozan. That was the only addition.
I'm talking about last year.
Oh, I thought you meant this year. I was like, the only thing they changed was DeMar DeRozan on their team.
They doubled down on their mistake of running it back by adding DeMar DeRozan, who I don't think is a great fit on the team. Also, it just isn't that great of a player anymore at all. He didn't move a single needle at all, to be honest. He just hurt the development of why did I just blank on his name? Keegan Murray. He hurt the development of Keegan Murray. Even I don't think Keegan Murray's gonna get that much better anyways, but he definitely hurt the development of Keegan Murray because he's playing in his spot and taking away shots from him. So we're gonna start with talking about Fox though. Max, where do you think the best landing spot for De'Aaron Fox is?
I think it's so obvious. I think it's San Antonio. I think people have thrown out Houston in the past. As far as them just going out to get a lead guard, you give away Jalen Green, you give away Fred, you make the contracts work, and you get your number one guy. But I really think that with De'Aaron Fox on this team, De'Aaron Fox can even learn from Chris Paul. De'Aaron Fox is what, 27, 26, 27? Or is he even older? So he's 27 years old, but you can still learn a lot at 27, especially with Chris Paul on your team. But at this point in time, you're looking at records. Going from the Kings to the Spurs is a pretty lateral move. Like the Kings, I think, have 4 more wins than the Spurs. Like it's really not that much of like a drop off this season. Like you could still, if you get traded soon enough, you could still contend for the playoffs today, right now, at a better with the San Antonio Spurs than you do with the Kings. And obviously going forward, you're getting put with Wemby for the next 5-10 years, right? So you're getting put with a player on a trajectory to be the guy, a top 3, top 5 guy, whatever you want to say. And you get to develop your own game, right? You don't have to be the number one going on the line. Wemby will be the number one. And you get a great pick and roll player. And you get a great defensive center. Like you get someone to really grow with. And again, you can be the experienced vet on that team. I think when you get him, the spacing opens up a lot more. So I think that opens up guys like Devin Vassell. I think that this team could really, really develop from a all-star level guard. De'Aaron Fox having a great year this year. He's been on a tear the past couple of years, finally getting his respect after making the playoffs. But I think you can make it work. I think you give up. I guess I don't know what the trade package looks like. They have to give up a Stephon Castle. Do you have to give up a Keldon Johnson, who's not going to be valuable to you? Do you give up Vassell? Who do you really give up in this whole thing? I think to make the money work, kind of make the value work. I think you can obviously give up your picks. Sacramento will love that, but I think as a whole, it's a pretty, it's borderline low risk. You know what you're going to get with De'Aaron Fox.
I'm gonna bring up the trade machine.
Oh, you're bringing up.
We can bring up the trade and talk about potential destinations for De'Aaron Fox and what we would do.
Hold on a second.
Episode that we would add with that. I don't know why he does that.
So again, De'Aaron Fox got injured last year, but the 2 years before that, 22, 23, 23, 24, he played 73 and 74 games, right? His first couple years he played, I get he gets injured, but he'll be there to play. And I think you got Trey Jones on the bench. You got good rotational pieces in that guard position. And I think, again, this is just the start. This is the first move San Antonio can make to building a championship level roster around Wemby in San Antonio.
So put yourself in you're San Antonio as far as being a GM. Put yourself in his shoes. And what are you giving up? Now think about this. So just consider all these type of things. De'Aaron Fox is 27 years old. He has 1 more year left on his deal, so that's 2025. He'll be a free agent the summer after this one. So you're gonna have to pay him for one.
Get an extension. Yep.
At that point, he'll be 28 years old. So De'Aaron Fox is a person whose game really relies on athleticism and speed. So I don't think
I'm fine to pay him until he's 33. I'm fine to give him a 5-year deal to pay him until he's 33.
I don't know if they can't give him a 5-year deal. I think they can probably do 4, but that's regardless. So these are some of the factors. Let's think about it like this. He's going to be 28. You got to pay him. When I'm talking about leverage and the thing you want to get, he's 28. You got to pay him. Also, he clearly said that you're in his top destination. That's 3. So you have the leverage in that he wants to come there. And so how much are you really going to give to the Kings? Because
does Fox have a no trade clause?
Huh? No.
Does Fox have a no trade clause? Okay, I don't know.
No, he does not. I think Bradley Beal outside of LeBron without no trade clause.
So I think right now, Wemby obviously is on pace right now to be a 1A for a championship team, to be a 1. And I think with a good 1, De'Aaron Fox could be a 2, especially on a team like this, on a championship level team. I think with De'Aaron Fox's current play for the past couple of years, he could definitely be a 2 on a championship team. Look at everyone else. I like Devin Vassell, and you got him for 5 years. I think in a little bit, I think he's got to up his play a little bit. I don't think 30 million will look that crazy if he can kind of develop with De'Aaron and Wemby. So I think I'd automatically jump to Keldon and Harrison Barnes to make the money work out, which would be funny because you're sending Harrison right back to Sacramento where he came from. So I would probably give away Keldon. I give away Harrison Barnes. You're at what, 37 million right there. So you can make the money work right there. Scroll back down. Let me see some of their youth. So I think I don't want to give up Stephon Castle. I think having Castle as a 2 guard, I think you have a pretty good defensive backcourt. De'Aaron Fox obviously isn't like an all like NBA defender, but he can hold his own. And I think you have Stephon Castle, who's a good defender. So I wouldn't want to give up Stephon Castle personally. So I feel like I would front load picks more than anything. So I think if you do Keldon, if you do Harrison Barnes, I'm almost saying I feel like Jeremy Sochan is like fun to have around as a defender.
I don't think the Kings will want Harrison Barnes at all.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think if you're saying leverage wise,
I believe they're going to want a young player.
and I don't know who I'm really giving up besides Castle. So if you want Sochan, great. If you want Malachi Brandon, great. Like, I don't care about some of those players.
I personally feel like you're being way too high on Devin Vassell.
You think Devin Vassell has to be part of the deal?
I don't think he has to be part of the deal. I don't think necessarily anyone has to be a part of the deal because, again,
that's what I'm saying. I would try to work around.
Necessarily have all the leverage in the situation, I believe, considering he wants to come to San Antonio, and also that he wants to come to San Antonio, and yeah, that's really it. Well, yeah.
So give me your trade because I think Devin Vassell could be a good shooter scorer off the bench, or sorry, a good shooter scorer, whatever, third, fourth option on a team right now.
I think the Kings will love a Devin Vassell, get them more youth.
For sure. I think that's high end though. I don't think they need to even offer that at this point in time. You could front load it with picks, and I think the Kings would love the picks.
Well, if you're playing, I honestly think that Fox and Castle is a terrible fit. Honestly,
so are you giving up on Castle already too?
Huh?
Are you giving up on Castle already too?
I mean, I'm not giving up on him. I'm not a fan of. I don't think Castle's going to be that good, to be honest. But I think he'll be a good player, but like he won't return. Like he'll maybe return top 5, top 7 value as far as the 2024 class. But considering how high he was drafted relative to like other draft classes, I don't think he would turn top 5 value. I think he can be a really, really good role player. But as far as like a star or anything like that, not at all. No.
But I think that's what this team needs. I think this team needs more role players, and I think while you have him on a rookie deal, especially, I think that's really, really good.
I'm not saying Castle in this. I'm saying that I don't think him and De'Aaron Fox are.
That's fine.
Especially if Castle is while he is not a great shooter, because also De'Aaron Fox is not a great shooter. Castle is shooting like 30% outside of the paint.
I think defensively it works, but yes, I understand. You don't got to always play them together. But yeah, I don't think you have to give up Stephon in this trade. So I think Keldon Johnson, I think is a must just as far as contract wise. But if you think Vassell, the money's already almost matched up.
Yeah. I don't think the Kings will want Harrison Barnes at all. I would definitely be willing to move off of Keldon Johnson, though. I don't think Keldon Johnson is very good.
I mean, you can give up Zach Collins. I just don't think Zach Collins has the most value in the world at all.
No, I don't think he does either. He does make the money work almost perfectly. I was at 35 million, 36 million.
So, like, I mean, realistically, do the Kings have any value on a guy like Jeremy Sochan? Scroll down because they have more than just Blake Wesley. Down. Who am I missing out on? Who am I missing? No,
we're not missing anyone. Their young talent is not great. That was outside of Wemby.
Yeah. Which is tough. I think maybe you try and offer. What's up?
Sochan, I would also probably keep, because he's become fine this year. He's actually his offense still leaves a lot to be desired, but he's improved this year, I believe.
Go to their picks. At least go to their picks. Because I think that's the more valuable thing in this whole trade. I think.
Let's put Zach Collins in a deal and to make the money work. And then talk about draft capital. I'll probably do like 3 first.
You got Atlanta's. I think Atlanta's is a good one this year, especially with Jalen Johnson going down. I think Trae Young could try and back that team to a play-in spot, but I think there are other teams in the East who compete with that. But they have later Atlanta picks, correct? They got 27 Atlanta picks.
Yeah, they do. They have
So
2025, 2027.
I think that 2027 definitely is part of it because again, you don't want San Antonio's picks now because San Antonio is going to be good, right? You're trading for Fox, you're going to have Fox and Wemby going forward. That's going to be late round picks. It won't be worth it. So I think having those Atlanta picks will be valuable, and maybe you give them this year's too. I don't know, or you give them the Spurs this year. Doesn't really matter. Um, but I think you definitely have the ability to shell out those Atlanta picks because I think they're definitely more valuable, especially in the later years.
Yeah, I don't know if you do both, but I think both of those. Well, you could do both
I
fine.
think this year Atlanta and San Antonio's are about the same, and I think you'd rather have your future than you would
Atlanta,
Atlanta's future.
both these Atlanta picks probably maybe premium because I think the Hawks are going to be terrible without Jalen Johnson. We'll get to that later. But yeah, I mean, two picks and maybe like a swap or something like that.
Fine,
Um,
fine. Get
Fine.
that Atlanta
I'm
swap
not do
rights in
all that.
2026.
But
Yeah, exactly.
this is what a deal I would probably do look like with another swap or something like that, or another pick. Who
I
knows?
think a young player might have to get added in though, but I just don't know what young player is. Yeah, I know,
The
Jaden. It's
Kings
kind of
don't
a nasty deal. They
have,
love young players.
the Kings don't have a lot of leverage in the situation, and also, again, those picks are probably going to be premium picks. I don't think the Hawks are going to be good in 2025 or 2027. To be honest, depending on how, if Trey's still on the team and Jalen Johnson,
Do the
um,
Kings have bad contracts?
I mean, yeah, I mean, De'Aaron, I think DeMar Rosen. Oh, it's not bad. It's not terrible.
I'm thinking if they have any like bad contracts, can they
No, they
take
really
it
don't
on?
at
Yeah.
all.
So I was thinking, could they try and shell out some money
Luke
that the
Monk is
Spurs could
one of the
take
best
on?
contracts in the league.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, I mean, I like that. I mean, I like the I move. I made a TikTok on my personal page yesterday, um, talking about him going to the Spurs. And since I've made the video on it, I become a little bit less like I become lower on it since I actually sat back and evaluated things. Because De'Aaron Fox is definitely he's a good player. I don't think he's top 25. I wouldn't have him in my top 25. He is a very good scoring guard. The 3-point shot and pull-up shot is inconsistent, but he's not a good playmaker for a point guard at all. He is, I think, a decent defender, and he would definitely help this team a lot. He can potentially be the second best player on a championship contending team, but they'll have they have to make the team better as well.
I agree. I agree.
When you consider that he is going to be turning 27, 28 pretty soon, you have to give him a lot of money for a player that's not, I think, in a top 25. It has a bit of downside to it, especially since I don't think he's the best fit next to Wemby because he's not, that great of a passer. I will
Oh,
say they need perimeter scoring and someone that has the ability to get to the rim and play in the pick and roll, which helps. But it's more it's people I would prefer when we play with outside of De'Aaron Fox. Those players are just not available at the moment. So
I give the Kings credit for actually doing this though, for actually looking at trades. Because again, I think they've been a team for the past couple of years who've been thinking they're contenders, thinking they're doing this, but they've very much just been competing with mediocrity. So, Jaden, I have one proposal to you though. What if what if your pals try to run it back and try to make a deal at De'Aaron Fox to pair him up as the point guard in New Orleans?
why would I do that?
You
No,
don't want it?
no, he can't. He can't shoot. Like I don't understand why we would go after. I like guards that can shoot on my team, bro. Especially if Zion is healthy.
Healthy?
I just don't see the point. I haven't really gave my thoughts, but I think the Spurs would actually be a really good destination for De'Aaron, just to pair him with him and Wimby. Ironically enough, I think it helps their pick and roll game. Obviously, De'Aaron Fox, he's not the best playmaker or the best shooter, but just being able to be a rim threat, I think that helps them a lot. Obviously, last year was probably his best shooting season in his career, and you would want that to happen again. But I just don't think that he's that type of shooter. But in a trade with De'Aaron, I don't think you have to give up. I don't think you have to give up CP3 because he's just not the player he once was. So I don't think he's like a valuable trade asset. So if you're able to keep him, keep the veteran leadership, and CP3 is still a great passer. I don't know if to say great, but he's still a really good playmaker, really good passer. So in those times where you just kind of need that playmaking push, you still have CP3. But ironically, I think Wemby and De'Aaron Fox in the pick and roll could really work just off of the rim pressure that De'Aaron Fox provides that CP3 can't. Obviously, his shooting isn't a plus, but to be honest, CP3 shooting isn't that great. He hasn't been that efficient this year. So I don't know. I like the pairing. They need a scoring guard next to Wemby, and I think De'Aaron provides that.
I think another destination is maybe Miami pairing with Bam. They've been friends since Kentucky. They're probably not looking to actually like fully rebuild.
Yeah,
And
that's the only thing.
Bam has
where?
with
Miami.
Bam is just to play with a guard, that can actually score out the pick and roll. I mean, Tyler Hero can do it, but like he's no De'Aaron Fox, obviously.
How are they facilitating a trade for De'Aaron?
It'll have to be like a 14 deal with Jimmy.
That's what I'm
Butler,
saying.
Jimmy Butler going.
How are you getting the value back if you're Sacramento in a 4-team deal?
From other places. It's
yeah. I'm just trying to think of like how they would get substantial value in a trade where one team is not getting Fox or Jimmy, but I don't know. That I get the idea, but
I've seen De'Aaron Fox to Houston. I know he has a home out there, I think. But the more I think about it, the more I don't like it at all, to be honest. Because I think Amin Thompson is the future of their franchise, and I don't think his fit next to De'Aaron Fox is
two non-shooters.
I don't think it's good at all. So I don't really like that move for Houston, to be honest. So
I mean, a man could play off the ball, but I just don't like people who could. I don't like somebody who could be off the ball but isn't really a shooting threat. So yeah, I don't like that.
Maximizing Amin is with him with the ball in his hand, so that's why.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the next step? What's the next steps for the Kings before we
trade
close?
Trade Sabonis. Like DeMar. Yeah, you gotta rebuild.
You gotta start over. I mean, I don't know if you guys really touched on it, but I don't know. I feel like stuff just got sour fast because they had Malik, they had De'Aaron Fox, the whole Kentucky shit, and then they did well. They made it to the playoffs, and then I don't know, stuff just kind of fell apart. And then you add DeMar to that situation, who's not a good fit, not a shooter. I don't know. I think it just got sour quickly. De'Aaron Fox, your cornerstone, your franchise player wants to be out. I think the ship just stops there. So might as well just rebuild. Get what you can for Sabonis. Get what you can for De'Aaron. And just start over.
I would agree. I think they should rebuild. They gotta scrap this whole thing, and I know it's a hard thing to do because they were bad for so long, and then they got like a very small glimpse of being a relevant NBA team. So it's hard for them to go back to being one of the worst franchises in the league. But it's what you got to do, especially with some very good drafts I think coming up. I don't know how much like actual. I don't know how much value Sabonis has on the open market because I think he is a hard person to fit your team around and have him on the floor come playoff time. Malik Monk is a great player and a great contract. I think you'll get a lot for Malik Monk.
I agree.
From like a team like the Magic, maybe even
Are you all the time?
But no. To be honest, you can call me crazy. I want the Thunder. I would want the Thunder to trade for Malik Monk.
I just said that.
I just heard the Magic. I think Malik Monk would be a great fit for the Thunder.
He definitely would. Y'all need some off the bench scoring and secondary creation off the bench. Y'all need that badly. So he would definitely be a good get for the Thunder as well. So I would look to trade Malik Monk because he's on a great contract and he'll have a lot of value. While he's at his max value, get that contract. Well, not a contract. Get that player off your team. Sabonis. Like now, DeMar DeRozan, I think he's almost untradeable. I don't know if someone that's.
I agree. It's like you got to wait out. What you got 2 years left?
I believe 2 years left after this one. Contract isn't terrible, but like I don't know what team would actually.
I'm not gonna lie. I think Sabonis. I love Sabonis, but I don't know if he's Who's trading for DeMontis Sabonis?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he has a lot of value on the open market at all.
He's a great basketball player, but he does not fit a lot of teams who are contending, or he's not the piece away to make a team a championship level contender. So I don't know where you send him in a
Just
deal.
like a style clash.
Huh?
I say he's like a style clash for like.
Yeah, it's just like you think of all the top teams. Are they a DeMontis Sabonis away? I don't know because I think he might. He's again good basketball player, but like I just don't see a fit.
All right, let's talk about Amen Thompson's breakout. Obviously, the Rockets are the 2 seed right now in the West. They're playing amazing basketball. And at the center of that really is Amen Thompson. Since Jabari Smith went down with his injury, he's been a starter, and he's been playing amazing. So this topic really got prompted by his play, but also Wilder. I don't know if y'all remember him. He's been on the podcast a few times. He made a tweet that got like 100K views on Twitter. So and he basically said the only players that he would take over Amen Thompson clearly for the next, like obviously going forward was Victor and Paolo. And that sparked up a debate on where he ranks amongst young players. So my question to you guys is how many players under the age of 25 are you taking over Amen Thompson going forward?
I'm taking Zion, and I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm still taking Zion. I have a lot of stock in him, and I really do love him, man. I love his game. Long, but how tall is he? I'm not trying to be corny, but like 6'7", 6'7", long. Really, I would say he has a crafty handle. Great footwork. Scrappy defender. Rim pressure is great. Obviously, his shot isn't there yet, but I think that's something that can develop in time. But I don't want to say he doesn't need a shot, but he's doing well without it. Really good playmaker. With the ball in his hands more, I would like to see that a little bit. See how his playmaking flourishes because I think he has some great potential there. But I still take Zion, especially now. Latif, you have all the numbers, but can you look up like his on and off numbers
for the season?
Yeah, and surprisingly, I would think that defense his on and off defense numbers would actually be pretty good because defensively he's actually done well this season.
I can get some that don't filter out garbage time real quick. Let me look at them.
But I'm still taking Zion.
How many names? Besides Zion, I'm just saying, how many names do you think you got?
This is under 25.
Yeah.
I'm taking Zion. I'm taking Ant. I'm taking Wemby. Paolo, maybe. Paolo. Probably taking Paolo.
Paolo, maybe. What are we talking about?
I'm not a huge Paolo fan. But
yeah, I know, but still.
Mind you, the stuff you talk about Franz is crazy. But, yeah.
Latif, what do you got? How many names?
I was going to let Jaden finish. Well, I'll address the Zion thing first. I'm taking Amen over Zion just because, one, the injuries is crazy. Like, he has not shown the ability to stay healthy at all in his career. Like, not at all, not one bit. And also, Amen Thompson is one of the best defenders in the league right now today in his second year in the NBA. He clears Zion on the end. He's one of the best players in transition in the entire NBA right now today. And also, I think he has the ability to be a better passer and playmaker than Zion Williamson as well. If he's given the keys in Houston and they actually try to build around him, I think we're looking at a player that can be a wing-style version of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Not that good, obviously, but someone that can make all NBA teams like perennially in the NBA. I don't really think he needs a jump shot to be a great player, but it would definitely help for sure. He is really bad in the half court as a creator, but right now he's a great cutter. He's great at getting offensive rebounds and putbacks and stuff like that, and he's obviously great in transition. I would definitely take Amen over Zion.
Can you speak on Zion's rebounding this season?
I mean, it's got better. It's been a low sample size. He hasn't played a lot of games, and that's part of the problem.
No, that's true. The question with Zion will always be health. So I mean, if you're taking a man over Zion and a main part of that is health, then I wouldn't be mad at it. Obviously, a man is a better defender. POA, I think off the ball, he's better. He's better than Zion, like all around when it comes to defense.
Yes.
But Zion has improved on the defensive end. I think offensively, he's still a better playmaker than a man. Again, I would like to see it more from a man. I don't know how like that'll happen, but I think he's still a better playmaker. Scoring the ball, rim pressure, Zion is still better, more efficient.
He's definitely a better offense. He's definitely a much better offensive player.
I think he's all around just an better offensive engine. I mean, that's kind of the same thing to say he's a better offensive player, but just being an engine on offense, I think is totally.
He's a better offensive player for sure. And if he was healthy, like consistently, I don't think it would be much of a question. But I think I'm in, especially right now, just scratching the ceiling, like the surface of his ceiling. I have to see like how much Houston actually caters to him. I think like right now, I think he's a Ben Simmons level player, like no trail. Like right now, I think he's a Ben Simmons level player. Like how good Ben Simmons was in his prime as a like all NBA defender and a third team all NBA player. He's there right now and he's more aggressive, and so he won't have the issues of not looking for a shot in the playoffs, not attacking the basket and stuff like that.
Do you think he has the defensive versatility of a Ben Simmons?
I mean, Ben Simmons is obviously bigger, so he can guard like the 4 and the 5 a little bit more. But Thompson I can clear on the perimeter. So not
How
really.
How polished do you think his offensive game is right now? Then
his offensive game right now is not polished at all. Really, he can't shoot at all. His handle needs a lot of work, and I don't really think he's a point guard like in the future, to be honest. But again, he's very, very limited in
his handle needs work. But for somebody who's 6'7" on a wing, I think he has a crafty enough.
It's fine. It's fine for a wing. It's not fine for a playmaker at all. No.
Yeah.
I mean, for a point guard at all. No.
His shot needs to get better, obviously. I'm looking at it right now, and I got like 10, 12 people that I'm probably taking over. And that might be blasphemous. That's fine.
Latif,
but like, if I'm going,
huh?
Did you find those on and off numbers?
I did. The Pelicans are negative. I mean, they're negative 3.1 with them on the floor. With them off, they're negative 9.9. The defense gets worse by like 0.5 with him off the court. So he's been a positive on defense in that regard, and the offense decreases by 6 points basically when he's off the floor. It's fine. Max, give me so you say you have 10 to 12 players over.
I'm looking at 10 right now that I'm saying. I'm taking or debating. I'm taking or debating.
Hold on. You have 10 to 12 players under the age of 25 that you would take over Thompson going forward, correct?
Not necessarily take. I'm thinking about it or having the debate.
Okay.
So I'm having.
Who are the 12?
I stay getting put on blast. Wemby, Ant, Paolo, Mobley, Cade, LaMelo. How many is that? Wemby, Ant, Paolo, Mobley, Cade, LaMelo, Chet.
Okay.
I would take Zion as well. I think Zion's ceiling's high. And again, I get you talking about the offensive polish game, whatever. Like, I know we're going back and forth about. But then think you get 3 names where it gets contentious. So, again, maybe it's a little less than what I thought. But then you got Franz, you got Jalen Johnson, and then I think you also have Jalen Williams.
I'm not mad at that. I'm really not mad at that list at all, to be honest.
I think Jalen Johnson – what's up?
I think Jalen Johnson is more of a maybe.
I would take Thompson.
That's what I'm saying. I think those 3 names. I think the first guys I said I would take. I think, again, I've seen Zion's. I know Zion's got injuries, obviously. We know that. We always talk about it. But what I've seen from Zion so far in his peak season, obviously, is a player that I would want over Thompson. But I think when you get to the Jalen Williams, I love Jalen Williams, plays both sides of the ball. I think you have you have Franz and you have Jalen Johnson, who both have good offensive games, can develop defensively. I don't think they're bad defenders. But I think that they could have obviously develop more and have a much better offensive game versus Ahmed's much better defensive game. And it's just, what would you take on the other side? How bad is Ahmed's offensive game versus whatever Jalen Johnson
Well,
or
you got to
Francis
think about
defensive
how
game?
much his game can grow as far as his offense game. He's really bad.
I'm saying, but
He's really bad in the half court.
I think the same thing could be said. The same thing could be said for
the stuff that we're seeing with men, and I realize like with basketball players, I don't want to say they're stuck in their ways, but like it's kind of hard to break habits. And I feel like it's kind of been a negative for a men and Asar just being so physically gifted when it just comes to their stature and just their athleticism. The stuff that we're seeing now is the stuff that we've been seeing in OTE. So if you think that he can, I mean, again, I think that he has a crafty handle for his size, but for you, you're looking for him to be somebody with the ball in his hands more, be the playmaker on the team. I think you said that you don't think he needs a shot or something like that, but I don't see that. I don't see that like coming along and being a part of his game. I think that he's kind of set in his ways, and now at this point in his career, he's just gonna build on the stuff that he's already good at, if that makes sense. I don't see him becoming a shooter. Like how much better do you like? How much do you think he can grow when it comes to like the stuff that he's not particularly good at right now?
I don't know how much his shooting can really develop right now. Like it's obviously take a lot more time. He's got to get a good shooting coach. But again, I think sorry, I'm not trying to I guess you were asking Latif, but I think I agree with like the OTE thing. But again, this is NBA level coaching and NBA level training. So I think that you can obviously break into better habits with that at your disposal.
I think Ahmed is really cognizant of his weaknesses. You look at any of his interviews, his draft interviews, he was cognizant that he needs to become a better shooter. Him and Asar, they have been labeled as some of the hardest workers we've seen in the NBA. I think they are. Now, I don't think he's going to be a above average shooter at all. He needs to be like a Giannis level shooter, I would say. I think he needs to just improve in the half court. His handle needs to get better. He needs the reps, basically, attacking, defense, and stuff like that. Because Giannis is obviously not a great shooter, but he's also 7 feet, so it's harder for a wing to do it. But Ahmed is just so much quicker, stronger, faster than anyone you're gonna be able to put on him. Basically, he's quicker than guards. He's quicker than guards for sure. Yeah, he's stronger than guards. He is quicker than centers, so it's really hard to have a matchup on him. To be honest, teams are going to eventually just start to go under on screens as they have already been doing, and also just pack the paint on him, which it has my concerns as him as a primary initiator. But because of his elite level athleticism and quickness and speed, all that type of stuff, I don't think that's going to necessarily like limit him, especially in the regular season. He definitely needs to add like more moves to his bag and stuff like that for sure to become a better half court player. And I don't want to keep comparing him to all time great, but when you look at like Giannis, his like even his second and third years and stuff like that, it was the same type of thing. Like his handling and his half court play was terrible. Like, and that's how it is for Thompson. So he would just have to freaking nature though. So you can't.
What wing have we seen not be? What wing have we seen be a below average shooter? Because he's a below average shooter.
No, he's a terrible shooter.
Yeah,
but
and thrive as the main guy.
Now,
as a wing,
that's a great question. But also, there's been no player in NBA history like Thompson.
I mean, I don't know about that.
He's the most unique player in NBA history. What other player can you compare to him outside of Asar?
I think Wemby might be the most unique player in NBA history.
No, we'll see another Wemby, but
sure. You're saying we will? I think we will see another Ahmed at the point.
I think Ben is a really good comparison.
He's way more athletic than Ben Simmons.
But Ben is also 6'10", and
That's the thing. He's a wing, and he's the best athlete in the NBA, probably.
No, he definitely is different, but I think you can draw similarities when it comes to game and I guess stature.
We never got to see Ben Simmons as the main guy because Philly never built a team around him, and it was also a terrible fit with Joel Embiid.
And I think, ironically, I think that you would need somebody next to Amen for like him to be the main guy. Like you would need somebody next to him. Ironically.
Well, yeah. So I don't really think it's hard to as you say like a wing that can't shoot. That makes sense, but again, there is not been a player like Amen Thompson probably in NBA history with his combination of size, speed, strength, and touch. Because he can't shoot, but he has really good touch on like Euro steps and floaters and
very crafty.
Yeah, what's up?
But you get go man. You can go.
I was just you guys were making conversation. I was just having the idea like so out of all the names I said though, right? Are you taking them at face value, or are you saying their development as well? Because again, I think because what we're talking about again, like I think, and there's players I didn't even say, right? So like, I think that other names could be in a conversation with it. I think the lack of offensive.
I think Amen Thompson ceiling is higher than Jalen Williams and Jalen Johnson.
I think
my thing is more. I think there's a better chance that Jalen Williams hits his full ceiling than Amen Thompson does. I think based on situation.
What is Jalen Johnson's full ceiling?
Just a very good scorer, I guess. Like I think Amen Thompson. I think Jalen Johnson. I think Jalen Williams is a great 3-and-D player. That's his ceiling. Jalen Johnson is.
Ceiling is weird because I feel like that goes to situation. Like situation.
I guess
J-Dub.
I agree. I agree 100%, and that's what I'm saying with this team and Amen. I don't know. I guess like I kind of agree with. I don't know if he's just the number one scorer on this team. He's the number one option, right? Like,
well, not right now, but.
I'm saying going forward, though, I think there is like a lot of stuff to obviously develop with the offensive game, and not by no way am I not saying that he doesn't have a ceiling. He definitely has a high ceiling, but like I think that he's got to lock in on the offensive game and develop the shot, his pull up game, his playmaking, whatever, to kind of make him that go to guy. Because again, like if he could be a elite scorer with a great defensive side, like that makes him that much more valuable. But do you disagree with any of the names I said, Latif? And how many did I say? Like was it 10?
I don't remember how many names you said. As far as like,
wait, let me count through.
I'm thinking about it, bro. I'm having a lot of questions when it comes to
about what?
Because like in the half court, you got to think if he becomes the main guy and he has the ball in his hands, in a pick and roll, centers in a drop, immediately in a drop, is he physically imposing enough to just be able to get to the rim like every single time? Like does he have like a post up back to the basket game and be able to play make like a Giannis or Ben Simmons? I mean, I just think those are questions that you have to ask, and I don't think he'll be like good enough to do that. I don't know. Can he knock down a mid range like Giannis? Obviously, that's something that he'll have to develop, but like I don't know.
Giannis didn't develop that until like year 10.
That's true. But you got to think, like, if we're comparing him to Giannis, it's just so different because Giannis is most dominant player that we've seen in a long, long time, and that comes from stature alone. And it's just like, I don't know.
No, I think his ceiling is like a wing Giannis. And
how far does that get you?
I think a wing Giannis is probably a top 10 player in the NBA. I don't because of his again, I keep saying size, strength, and speed and all that type of stuff over and over again, but I don't think he necessarily he's what like 19. Well, no, I'm just like 21 or something like that, 20, 21. They came a little bit older. But I think he doesn't necessarily have to be physically imposing. Well, he definitely is physically imposing for sure right now.
But is he enough to carry an offensive load and be the main guy with the ball in his hands?
Well, that's something he has to grow into, and Houston is not going to find out until they actually give him the keys, which I think they definitely should. He's arguably the best player on their roster right now. Like he's definitely better than Jalen Green.
You got him over Şengün.
Sengun has had a down year, but
But you have him over Şengün because Şengün's a name that I did not say who was in that under 22. So you'd rather have Amin than Şengün going forward?
Under 24, but Sengun, his ceiling is
taking Amin over Şengün going forward.
Yes,
You're taking Amin over. Okay, just making sure.
I think Amin is their best prospect. On the team.
For sure. I would agree.
And he's able to affect the game in many ways. So, I mean, yeah, he's terrible like as far as like creating the half court, as far as like so his isolation and handler and post up stuff right now. He is at 50 true shooting on like isolation, handling, and post ups, and that's negative 2.9 below league average right now as far as relative true shooting. He's a weapon in transition, but off the ball, as far as like spotting up, is bad. It's really bad. So I don't know. He definitely has a ways to go, but I think his ceiling is incredibly high. I would take him over like, as far as ceiling wise. I would take him over J-Dub Franz, Jalen Johnson. That's about it, though.
I mean, if he was anywhere else, he's in a really good spot. So I mean, the situation kind of. I don't know about that.
I'll take Evan Mobley. Over him. I'll take.
Yeah. Who are your names?
My names are the names I'll like definitely take over him. Is Victor and I'll take Paolo. I'll take K still. I'll take Chet. I'll take Mobley. I'm at 6.
You want to hear other names?
I think that's it.
You're not taking LaMelo. You're not taking Franz.
I'm taking LaMelo.
You're not taking LaMelo, Franz, J-Dub, Tyrese Maxey, Halliburton, Zion.
I'll take Amin over Maxey. I'll probably take LaMelo over Amin. I'll take
LaMelo 7.
All right.
So I don't think my 10's that crazy. And again, I gave you something to debate with. I said I'll take a debate. I'm not going to comfortably take him over. But I think my 10's not crazy.
Injury history aside, I know you had your explanations, but Zion or man, just injury questions out of the picture.
Obviously out. I think you should take Zion because I think Zion can still be.
At this moment right now, I'll take Zion because of the stuff he showed when he is on the floor.
100%.
He's showing more than how many times. So as of right now, if I'm gonna continue this for another year and a half, it could be a different situation depending on how his growth shows. But right now, healthy Zion, which is a figment of our imagination, I'll take Amin. Zion.
Hey man, I just want to address something, bro. What's your names, bro?
Can I address them after?
It's Lowe's friend, bro.
I don't know.
Let's keep it a buck. It has B Souls and I forgot his name. But they did a video and they put it on Twitter and it says who will go down as a bigger bust, Zion Williamson or Ben Simmons. Now, like
that's bad.
That whole bust thing, I've had my like gripes and opinions on that whole like word and how like us sports fans go about it. But what really bothered me in that clip is it was just so uninformed because they were saying that Zion isn't a good basketball player. Like even when he's on the floor and healthy, like they said he's not a good basketball player, which is like weird to me. I don't get it. So it's like they're not even watching.
Shay's outscoring the entire Golden State Warriors right now. He's got 17 of our 23. So
I'm watching the game right now. I told you this was gonna be close.
So don't say that. I don't remember when you said that. And last time you said it wasn't going to be close. Last time you said a game.
I called you earlier. You told me you wanted to watch the game. I said you're going to blow Golden State out.
I don't remember that. But last time you said a game was not going to be close is when you said Cleveland would kill us, and you guys lost. So I'm not worried.
It was a win-win for me. I mean,
Shay's killing. Kaysen. Ooh, airball.
See, you just jinxed him, bro. He was really shooting great in the month of January. Now you just jinxed him. Anyways.
Yeah, because I never even talked about him. I was just talking about Shay. Okay.
Jimmy Butler got suspended indefinitely this time. Who are you giving the blame for the way stuff has shaked out in Miami with Jimmy Butler? Is it Pat Riley or is this on Jimmy Butler?
think it's on both parties. I'm still a Bulls fan, but even when Jimmy was on the Bulls, I just didn't like how he went about certain situations. I don't want to say it was a bad breakup with the Bulls, but it was kind of a bad breakup. And then you go to the Timberwolves, you know how that played out, how he treated Cat, how he treated um, Andrew Wiggins. And then he goes to Philly. Philly and him were kind of a match made in heaven. Like they're both just Philly as a whole, just an intense fan base, and he's just an intense energy guy. So I think that was a match made in heaven. And then the whole picking Tobias over him, and then now he goes to Miami again, kind of a match made in heaven. But I don't know, when stuff doesn't go Jimmy's way, he tends to act out, and Pat Riley does share blame too because he just uses old philosophies. Nobody's bigger than a program, and whatever he says goes. And I think when you're coach, not coaching players, he's not a coach, but when you have egos, when you're dealing with people who are making millions of dollars, I just think you have to go about it differently. And I think they're both wrong. Um, but yeah, they're both wrong. And I think Pat Riley is kind of treating him like a kid, and they honestly just need it'll be better for both teams if they just get the deal done instead of just having a pissy media fight. It's kind of lame. But they're both wrong.
Um, yeah, I think obviously both teams are, or both sides are very stubborn. Jimmy Butler, we've seen him do this before. Obviously, Miami, like Jaden said, is very not willing to go in their own ways. To be honest, I think it's pretty easy to blame Jimmy. I think it's pretty easy to blame Jimmy. He's done this before. This is just who he is. People think he's a diva, yada yada yada. But I'll take the side of my of blaming Miami on this one, just for the fact that I think they've pretty much Jimmy's given them 2 finals runs, and they haven't really helped him out that much. You can say that they've given him pieces. They really haven't. You drafted Bam, great. You drafted Tyler Hero, great. You just drafted Kentucky players. That's not a really great strategy. It's just not a great business move. It's just a strategy that's worked out for everybody. You draft players from Kentucky. But they're always in the media trying to get trade for stars. Stars want to go there. We know Dame. We've seen 1,000 jersey edits with Giannis going to Miami. You name the star, they're all rumored to go there. And again, I don't think it really matters that Paul George is not working out in Philly. But Miami didn't go out and get him. Miami does not go out and get anyone really past Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love, right? Like they're not going for these big stars anymore. And again, how are you going to support Jimmy and that team who's made 2 finals runs with nothing? Again, like I think Bam, when Bam's playing well, he's a very, very good basketball player. We know that. Tyler Hero's having a good year this year for sure. Like I think there are pieces there, but not pieces for a championship team this year. So I really think that if there was a discussion where they wanted to build around Jimmy, they didn't really do a good job of it. So I think it's going to be an ugly divorce of these two sides. I think it was just a matter of time before Jimmy just wasn't playing basketball for Miami. But I think at the same time, Miami can just wait it out because you're not going to get much for him anyways right now. I really don't think they'll get much for him. I think the only reason why the Suns would do the deal is to get off the Bradley Beal contract. But I think it's just this is making way for one of like the nastiest trades in history of big money going around for big money and teams mortgaging their futures for the chance to make a playoff run. That's never really actually going to happen.
It's kind of hard not to just put blame on Pat Riley because it seems like all the big name stars that he's had, the situation just went sour.
Yeah.
Shaq, LeBron, eventually D Wade, and that's Miami's own. Like that's homegrown. And then now Jimmy. I forgot what I saw. I think it was from Kenny, but man, I forgot what he said, and I really don't want to misquote him. But I think like 5 of like the best performances in playoff Miami.
Yep, I saw the same thing.
Yeah, a
Five,
majority.
like it was 5 of 10 or something.
Yeah, a majority of them came from Jimmy Butler. So I mean, I don't know. You kind of have to look at Pat Riley just because his relationships with the stars that he's had always seems to go sour. And if it's the same person, like it's a common denominator every single time. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to again, and I don't think that Jimmy Butler has been perfect, but it's kind of hard to turn the other cheek and just blame it all on Jimmy. I think a lot of the blame has to go on Pat Riley, and I think stuff needs to change with him, not mentally, but just like philosophically on how he deals with stuff.
Um,
Oh my gosh, Shay's got 20.
yeah, MVP. But I don't really know like who to assign blame. I'm not gonna lie, I know who to assign blame for. I do think Pat Riley did a bad job of actually surrounding Jimmy Butler with talent, and the situation the way they've handled this contract hasn't been the best considering what Miami, what Jimmy has done for Miami. But the way Jimmy is going about this is unprofessional, and it is a bit, I think, childish, for sure, especially with like him dyeing his hair orange and wearing the Suns colored shoes. He's just a troll, but it's just ended sour in so many places where Jimmy has left, and he's the constant. He's the constant denominator of where things have gone bad. And if I'm Pat Riley, I'm definitely not paying Jimmy Butler what he wants to be paid because he is getting up there in age. He doesn't play that much in the regular season. So I just wouldn't do it. And I think it's in Miami's best interest not to pay him. I think he's still a great player. He's not what he was probably a year or two ago. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't pay him. So I can't blame them for not doing that for sure. I can't blame him. I think a lot of this falls on Jimmy Butler for how he's handled the situation. But Pat Riley was outspoken and when saying he needs to get on the floor over the offseason, and I think it rubbed Jimmy the wrong way because I think his dad died. Somebody in his family died that was close to him, and
I have no idea.
I think his dad died. I don't want to be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure. And I think he without like instead of like reaching out to him or whatever, he was talking to him about him crazy in the media after Jimmy got injured. But Jimmy's injury prone and he's up there in age. I definitely wouldn't pay them. So I'm not like necessarily. I don't necessarily think their process of not paying him is wrong. The way things have gone is just messy. But yeah, if I'm any NBA team, I would not be excited to trade for Jimmy Butler at all, based on his history and the current trajectory of his career. So that's really all I got to say on it. To be honest, where do we think he's going to end up though? Max and Jaden, what's the best?
Phoenix.
I don't even like the whole.
I don't know why he keep saying it like that. Like Bradley Beal has to be involved in that deal.
It's Ishbia. I think Ishbia is desperate right now to make a trade work, and that's why I say Phoenix so confidently. One, I hope it's not Golden State. And again, we'll get to it later. I think him going to Golden State would be a huge mistake. I do not like that at all.
I don't like the fit with Phoenix though.
I don't either, but I'm just saying with the two parties involved, Miami really wants him gone. Ishbia and the Suns really want to try and win now as much as possible, and will stop at nothing to do that. So that's why I'm saying Phoenix, because I really think that's the one trade where both sides are desperate enough to make the deal happen and push it through. I think James Jones, he might be on the way out with the GM because, again, no moves seem to work, but they need to do anything because obviously Bradley Beal's not working. So I think Phoenix, just because I don't know if it happens any other way. I don't see another team trading for Jimmy Butler right now. Memphis, I think, makes the most sense. I like that idea.
I don't want to go to Memphis.
I don't think that Memphis needs to mortgage their future too. So they're fine. The only team who really needs to is Phoenix, in my opinion.
Phoenix, it's just kind of weird because
100%.
Jimmy, he's not a great 3-point shooter. Defensively, he's not bad, but he's not what he once was. I don't think the fit with Bradley Beal in Phoenix is seamless, but I think it's better than what Jimmy Butler is, especially currently at this moment. I think Jimmy's probably a better defender, but I don't know. I just don't know.
No, Bradley Beal's play style is too similar to a Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. I think Jimmy Butler's differs from that. I don't think he necessarily needs the ball in his hands to be the most effective, and he's obviously a better wing defender. So I think he's a better fit for what Phoenix likes to do.
But do you think I don't think you're getting much, especially out of him defensive. Not much.
if I'm any NBA team, I would not trade for Jimmy on and pay him. I would not do that at all. I don't think he's a very desirable asset at all in the NBA. From my perspective, to be honest, I don't even know how much money I would give him. He comes with a lot of headaches, and he wants a lot of money, and he's older. So I wouldn't be like enthusiastic to give him a deal. So I don't think it makes sense for Phoenix to do it at all. I think obviously Phoenix needs to blow it up. Obviously, they're not going to do that though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think they need to and they won't. That's a mistake.
Jimmy Butler, though, I mean, he's a playoff riser. He has been in the past, and I guess that can help. And again, they need another wing defender. So, I mean, it wouldn't be the worst, but I don't really have too many other destinations for him that makes sense because he's his situation.
Which is again why I think that like both teams are so desperate it happens. But I don't know.
I would just cut him. On Miami, I would just cut him.
To make a point, that's literally just so sassy just to prove a point. You're literally just like
That's
trying to be.
Move, though.
I guess so.
You're not going to go for Jimmy because one, the situation is so dire that the Mavericks have no leverage at all. They know that he has to go.
At that point, I would just trade him to like Washington for a second. Trade him to some team with a ton of cap space just for a second round pick and get him out of there.
Like Washington wouldn't do it.
I think I don't know.
Unless they're going to reroute him somewhere or something. I don't know. You will probably have to give up assets to.
I think you attach a first and maybe try and get a young player, but again, no
one's
really going to do it. There's no need. That was dumb.
Well, yeah, he do for sure. All right. We got some very somber news today. Jalen Johnson has been ruled out for the season with a torn labrum. So my question is for you guys. What should the Hawks' direction be for this season and going forward?
I mean, I haven't really watched a lot of Hawks basketball, but I know Jalen Johnson is just a really big part of their young core, especially how he's been developing. But I don't know. They have a really young team. You just had the first pick in the draft. I don't know. Develop. Literally just develop. Try to develop Dyson. I know he had a really good start to the season. Develop him offensively. Develop Ricochet. Just develop. I mean, I don't see them winning many games as it is, even with Jalen Johnson. So, I mean, I don't know. Just develop.
They're 9th right now, and they're pretty close to dropping out. Honestly, I agree with develop, but it's more like see what you have. DeAndre Hunter's obviously having a great year this year off the bench. You obviously slide him right in the starting lineup. I think you could honestly just I agree with develop, but see what you got out of your guys, right? See if you can get some sort of life out of anyone on that bench. I think there's past their top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7, 8. I don't know if you want to count Larry Nance. You just got a bunch of like randoms at this point in time. Kobe Buffkin, rookie, picked him recently. You got Vic Krejci, you got Keaton Wallace, just a bunch of guys who are just like whatever's at this point in time. They're not part of your plan. I think if you could at least see what you have in some of those guys, not that crazy, try and ship them out, make a deal. They're just in such a weird spot right now that like honestly, I think Atlanta should blow it up. I honestly think that Atlanta should get rid of Trae Young. I think Atlanta should get rid of anything with value and keep with what they have. But I don't think they will. I think they'll try and stay in the playoffs.
Try to make the playoffs.
I thought you make this point, and that's what I'm saying. I think one because they're significantly worse than Philadelphia. As we just saw. Yes, Philadelphia just beat the Cavs and the Lakers, so I don't know what you're talking about.
They also just beat the Kings too today.
Perfect. So again,
look what I said though.
Yeah, Philadelphia's much better.
The lottery odds.
Huh?
I mean, hey.
Yeah. By the way, I didn't realize.
I said it could be a turning point in the season, and then
you need them to make top 6.
Huh?
You need them to make top 6.
Who?
The Sixers need to get a top 6 pick.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not. Why was that ever a question? They're not getting top 6.
Oh, they definitely could have though.
They need crazy luck at that point in time, but no, they're not getting top 6.
Bro, the Raptors have won like 6 straight games, bro.
Still, look at the schedule. Please look at the schedule. or look schedule. Look at the standings.
No,
And especially
before
with
they
those
went on this
wins
2-game win streak, they would have been right where the Raptors are right now. The Raptors are at 6 or 7 right now.
Yeah, they're like right around the 8th, 9th best odds. So they need insane
Today?
luck. You didn't tell me that. Who?
The
The
Sixers are
Sixers
at
are
8,
at 8 or 9. The
right?
Sixers are
Yeah,
at 8.
they
They're
were
one game away from 9.
it's a 14. They could definitely do that.
Sure. Regardless, I'm just saying this Hawks team is the same with the Kings out west. Teams that, made these good playoff runs, had good seasons, whatever. And I think I think they got a little too overhyped with themselves. I honestly think Trae Young should go play for a contending team, should go get some big time minutes because he is a great basketball player, and Atlanta's sucking the life out of him at this point in time and just doing nothing with him. I really think that like Trae Young is getting hated on so much for no reason.
That's
It just seems like,
interesting way to describe the situation.
I guess he's just not looking like he like is enjoying playing basketball at some time. Imagine him ECF Trae Young versus now. He's not doing any of the antics he used to do. He's not bowing down in New York. Like he's just playing basketball. And again, like I guess that's him being younger and now he's becoming a vet. But like Trae Young used to be like must see TV for a long time. He used to be the guy going to get 35. He was the young up and coming guard. And it just seems like this Hawks team is so irrelevant sometimes. So I would love to see Trae Young in a big market. I just don't think it's going to happen at this point in time. I think that Atlanta should definitely blow it up, and I don't think they will. But I think that this Jalen Johnson injury just adds to it because you're going nowhere this year. But yeah, I think unless they can somehow make some sort of trade to get a piece to put Jalen Johnson, Trae Young, and whoever together. But the Hawks, I think, are so mid, so I don't have any words for it.
I think Trae Young's time in Atlanta has ran its course, and I do agree. I think they should rebuild and tear this thing down. DeAndre Hunter's value is at his highest right now. He's had an amazing season, considering how far he's came in his career. Definitely should try to see if a team will want to trade for him while his value is at his highest. I would try to trade Bogey as well for sure. He's had a down year. Try to trade him, see if a contending team will want to sign him as well. And they should also try to trade Trae Young as well because this season is over. Jalen Johnson was having a career year, and he was arguably the best player on the team this year. Now that he's out, the season is over, and they can't tank because they don't have their pick this year. San Antonio has it, and San Antonio has their pick in 2027. You need to recoup as many assets as you can and sell the farm and just go into a rebuilding stage.
I forgot about that too. I forgot that we didn't have to pick.
Their situation is one of the worst in the entire league because for years now they have just stayed in the middle and been mediocre, like the actual definition of mediocre for years on end. So it's time to, if you can, just blow it up. It's ran its course. Zachary Richey is going to be maybe a good player. I don't know. He's probably one of the worst number one overall picks in history. But maybe he's a good player, but you should build with Jalen Johnson and try to grab some draft picks to really turn this thing around in a few years. Maybe get your picks back from the Spurs somehow, some way. But yeah, the Hawks, it's over, bro. This team is never going back to ECF like they did a few years ago. It's time to pack it up. It's time to cut your losses. It definitely is. The Hawks this year were 9.7 points better with Jalen Johnson on the court. They were actually awful with him off the court. They were they're positive. They're negative 9.4 with them off the court. It's ridiculous. And they're positive 1 with him on the court. He helps our defense and our offense tremendously. So the season is over.
Chappelle's lost, bro.
Bro, you should be trying to lose. You got to hope that the Kings trade De'Aaron Fox and just become awful because then you'll get a top pick in this draft. But yeah, I would definitely just cut your losses and rebuild this team. Trade in Atlanta has ran its course. I would love to see trade on the Spurs or the Magic or something like that. And both of those teams have premium assets that they can give to you. So yeah.
Latif, did you see our court, man? It's so beautiful.
What court?
ISU.
No, I haven't seen our court.
We got a new court. I mean, we've been winning too. Looks like we're about to beat Belmont.
What conference are you guys in again?
How did your team do today, though?
What
MVC.
conference?
I'll be there. I'll be there when we play on whenever we play. I'll come and cover the game or whatever. I mean, it's not gonna be very entertaining. Y'all suck. So
Right. What was the score?
Hey, you're above 500. You're above 500 though. That's good. Both teams above 500. That's great, guys.
We like 12-9.
We're the second best team in the conference.
What was the score to the game Saturday?
61-57.
No,
it wasn't as close as that. It wasn't as close as that. We were not playing defense in the game because the game was already over. Right. I don't know what you mean.
Do you guys play again? You guys do play again.
Yeah.
I'm
not really concerned. The y'all are terrible. But anyways,
are you guys gonna be Drake though?
Potentially, I don't know. It's very hard to ask.
Drake's a fun team to watch. I love their bunch of D2 guys too.
They're very one-dimensional.
Hey, that one-dimensional has got them top of the conference though.
Bro, I didn't know that this was Johnny Davis's brother, bro. I did not know that.
Who?
Fuck, why am I blanking on his name? Dude on ISU, bro.
Jordan Davis.
Yeah, Jordan Davis.
No wonder he stinks. Anyways.
He's actually last year he wasn't that good, but he's been decent this year.
Anyways, we got a trade deadline wish list to in the episode. Max, this is your idea, so you're gonna start off. All right. Players and teams you want to see make moves at the deadline?
So I got a team that I would love to see go all in, and a team that I think it would be a mistake to go all in. And I touched on it a little last time on a previous thing. I think it would be a mistake for the Golden State Warriors to go all in. I think that when you're looking at what future they have a couple pieces going forward for sure.
Who?
I think that,
Who?
I think you have Kuminga, Moody, B-Pods. Wiggins is still valuable as a trade piece, I think, for some people. And I think that going in all in on this deadline would be an absolute mistake. I think that Golden State is still an attractive location. And what is Steph 35, 36?
Oh my god.
Yeah, 36.
Players still want to go play with Steph Curry. I think there's a world where people still want to go to Golden State, and I don't think you need to freak out and trade for Jimmy Butler or do whatever right now just because you want to try and capitalize on Steph's prime. I think that Steph's definitely having a bad down year compared to his past for sure, but people still want to come play Steph Curry, and I think you can get some good stars to come out and play with him. As far as the team that needs to buy in, I would love for the Detroit Pistons to go all in on a playoff push. I think you look at a team like Chicago who has Zach LaVine, who has Nikola Vucevic, who has some pieces. You have Torrey Craig, who's shooting 43% from three this year. You have pieces who you could definitely take from Chicago, who is going nowhere, and make a good playoff push surrounded around Cade. If you get some backup help at the point guard position, whatever it is, I think that Detroit definitely should buy in. Again, being around Detroit right now, when Detroit sports are good, like the city, it's entirely behind them. I've seen it with the Lions, I've seen it with the Tigers. So if Detroit push for the playoffs, maybe win a playoff game or whatever, get the city excited about Detroit basketball. It brings a whole new vibe to the city. So I really, really think that it would be beneficial for what's Zach LaVine's contract again?
40. It's $48 million in 2 years.
So 2 more years, right? Right? You said 2 more years?
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, that's a price I'm willing to pay at this point in time because I don't think the Bulls are going to be asking for much in return. I think that again, is the same thing with the Jimmy Butler situation where they just need to get a divorce and walk away. I think that you can get the shooting from Zach LaVine. I think you might need to get some defensive pieces, maybe a Jalen Smith in return, but you also need some wing pieces for sure defensively. But I think that Detroit could definitely make a couple moves, get a couple guys on low deals for low value, and really try and push for the playoffs. Make it interesting for the last part of the year.
Johnny, oh my fucking god. Oh my bad. Johnny, bro. Johnny tough, bro. He tough, shorty. He tough.
We literally clamped him. Anyways, what am I saying? I think that's good analysis, Max. I also think that the Pistons desperately need a secondary ball handler because K's offensive load is ridiculous right now without Jaden Ivey, and it's leading to inconsistency. Some games he look great, other games he looks terrible as far as efficiency wise. So they're definitely a secondary ball handler, and Zach LaVine is one of the best secondary ball handlers and complementary stars in the entire NBA. So that's a good take. Also, I don't think the Warriors should make a trade at all at the deadline, because one is going to jeopardize their future, and their future already it stinks. Brandon Podziemski, Jonathan Kuminga, and
It could be a lot worse, though. It could be a lot worse.
They have one. No, I don't know if it can. They have one. The Warriors might have one of the worst young cores in the NBA.
I don't know. They're definitely worse.
Bro, Brandon Podziemski this year has not been good. Like at all.
I'm watching this game.
Kuminga is like not good. I'm sorry.
Inconsistent is all. Yeah.
And Moody does not get enough minutes to really show anything, but I think he can be a final role player.
You got to build a franchise around these guys, but I still think they're a good enough location to grab people. Sorry.
A team I want to see go all in is the Cavs and the Thunder. Both these teams need to be on the line for Cam Johnson if they can do it. I don't know if the Nets are going to actually trade him, but they need to be getting more shooting and a wing upgrade definitely. For the Thunder, I think they should take a look at someone like Colin Sexton. They need another ball handler off the bench and someone that can actually create advantages and get to the paint and also shoot. So Colin Sexton will be a dream for the Thunder, and Cam Johnson will be a dream for the Cavaliers. Actually, Cam Johnson will be a dream for any team in the NBA, to be honest. But those are two teams I want to go all in. Obviously, the Hawks should sell. The Bulls should sell. That's pretty much it. I don't think I want any other teams to make any moves, to be honest, outside of the Pistons, which you already said. Jaden, can you answer that question as well? What teams do you want to see make moves at the deadline?
Bulls should have been made a move. I'm tired of talking about them. The deadline? Shit, I don't know. It was looking like the Pels were gonna try to make a move, but that's kind of dead now. Yeah, I'll probably just say the Bulls for real. Can't really think of any other teams right now, but the Bulls for sure.
All right, that's going to do it for episode 132. Thank you guys for rocking with us. We're going to have a lot of more content coming out very soon, especially from like NBA draft stuff. So stay tuned for that. Follow us on our social media platforms up at the top of the screen. They're also linked in the description, so you can, obviously find it easier that way. And we are out.